They live in some of the most idyllic locations in the world, where visitors pay a pretty coin to enjoy what is naturally available to them. The long stretches of white sandy beaches, the pristine waters, and all the trappings of the coastal tourism circuit. But away from the splashes of the waves on the shores, a few kilometers inland, a different reality of what life really is like for the locals here. Makuti walled and roofed structures, dilapidated, are what the residents here have to make do with as houses. The levels of poverty are not in question. The last demographic survey puts this county of Kilifi at a poverty index of 65%. Those who are slightly better off can afford to build stone houses with materials sourced from the local coral quarries. There are tens of such quarries dotting the landscape here, some active, some abandoned and reclaimed into land for habitation and attempts at agriculture, albeit on a small, not always successful scale. Every day, tens of men and women make the short walk to these fields armed with their tools of trade. The experience garnered throughout most of their adult lives, they get to work. Their mission, to get as many stones from the quarries as possible. They know that what they take home at the end of the day is directly proportional to the amount of work they put in.
Niko na watoto 12 na wote wanasoma. Na kazi yangu ni hiyo ya mawe, sina kazi nyingine. Na bei ya mawe iko duni sana. Jiwe moja ni shilingi 10, tunahitaji angalau hii bei ya mawe iwe board. Ikiwa board ndio mtu unaweza tukua hata mkopo na ukajiongeza mbele. Basi mafanikio yake itakuwa bora zaidi. Lakini kwa sasa iko duni sana. Na tunajikamua ili watoto wetu wasome.
But it isn't only the experienced and weather-beaten hands that turn the earth here. Carving and shaping the stones that create beautiful buildings in Kilifi and beyond. In their midst, much smaller hands are not engaging in child's play. They are literally carving out the stones that will build their educational future. These are the miners of Kilifi, children who on a school day are out here aching a living alongside their parents. Today there are over 6 children mining in this quarry alone. Most of them are also pupils in various schools around this area, but lack of school fees and poor parents have them breaking sweat. The back-breaking work that goes on in this expansive quarries is like a sword that cuts both ways. On one hand, it is responsible for sustaining livelihoods, but on the other hand, it is also the sole cause of one of the problems that plague this community: low school attendance and lower levels of education performance. Many of the pupils turned miners attend public government-funded schools where the basic education is supposedly free, but still they get sent off for levies that add up to hundreds of shillings.
Nimekuja hapo kuja kutafuta pesa za shule.
Niko darasa la 6 na nimefukuzwa kwa pesa 1,000 kamili.
Mwanzo siku kwa hivi mimi. Sasa huwa nasikia vibaya sana nikiona mtoto wangu anachimba akiwa mdogo.
Ni kazi ambayo ungetaka afanye.
Singetaka afanye. Sasa ingelikuwa natarajia kwamba awe yuko shuleni, mimi mwenyewe ndo nilikuwa natafuta. Lakini sasa kwa sababu ya hiyo hali ndo inabidi sasa.
Getting the fees in full is just one part of the problem. The children have to have their other basic needs met, and when they aren't, it is back to the quarries.
Hata mtoto akienda shule, akifukuzwa kule shule, lakini hata chakula chenyewe huwa ni shida. Sasa nyingine hata unaweza kuwa umepata pesa ameenda shule, lakini sasa chakula hauna. Itabidi mtoto amelala njaa. Hutaweza kumwacha aende shule na njaa. Itabidi sasa mnatoka muende mtafute chakula ndio aende shule tena sasa.
And in the battle between school and daily sustenance, it is clear which one wins. Kadzo, not her real name, has been working here for over a week now. Unlike her counterparts, the 16-year-old class 6 pupil attends one of the private schools in the area. Her family doesn't have much. Indeed, their sole source of livelihood is this white and cream stones. So why did they take her to an expensive school, even by their own standards?
Hata sasa alikuwa amemaliza darasa la 8, lakini sasa ni ile mara amedrop kwa sababu ya pesa, inabidi natafuta. Kwa sababu alikuwa akisoma government, lakini sasa government nao kwa nyingine unajua watoto walimu hawafundishi. Inabidi sasa unampeleka private kwa sababu kule huwa wanafundishwa vizuri kwa sababu kule wanalipa pesa. Lakini kule government wanafukuzwa na hata walimu hawaingii madarasani. Sasa tukabidi nikamtoa mtoto wangu.
That desire to provide better for her children has seen her work 2 jobs, one manually breaking the stones in this quarry and the other picking and packing stones in the other machine cut quarries. But even the income from both isn't enough.
Iko duni sana. Jiwe moja ni shilingi 10, tunahitaji angalau hii bei ya mawe iwe bodi.
In these quarries, the proportion of boys to girls is hugely slanted to the disadvantage of the boys. Out of the 6 cutters, only 1 is a girl. The boys are not only engaged in the actual cutting, they are also employed as loaders. The lorries that come to collect the stones engage the services of the young boys, most of them school dropouts or those who have never set foot inside a class. Like their cutter counterparts, they put in the hard, back-breaking work, collecting the stones and loading them onto the lorries for onward transmission to the towns. For their troubles, they will earn 50 cents per stone loaded, an amount shared by all those on duty. The impact of the boys working in the quarries is best seen in the classrooms. At the Ngala Primary School, one of the schools neighboring the quarries, the population of the school has been steadily declining. From classroom to classroom, the evidence of the devastation that the quarries are visiting on education are clear. Empty spaces where children ought to be but aren't.
First, they used to dodge from school maybe in the afternoons, and after some time, they just get employed there. They never come back to school. In fact, as I speak, we have a class 6. When they were in class 4, we had 21 boys in that class. But as of now, we have only 5 in the class. Which, in fact, the age of the children who disappear are, in fact, the lower classes from standard 3, 4, 5, and 6. Otherwise, at least standard 7 and 8, you'll find them in school.
According to the Ministry of Education, Kilifi County officials, in the entire county, at least 56,000 children of school-going age are not in school.
Parents go to these quarries with these children. So after these kids outgrow the age of reporting to nursery schools. So when they are big, they now go when they are big, they are over age, like 8 years, 9 years. So when they go, you realize if they are now in the class and they are competing even in exam time, the small ones now 4 years, which is now the right age to be in primary school, they do better than them. So because now they are already over age, they feel ashamed and now they drop out of school. It's a worrying trend because it means that in near future or in some time to come, we'll have a community of some youth who don't even have a basic education, that is the primary school education, which is really a challenge.
A problem compounded by the illegal yet thriving practice of government-funded primary schools charging huge levies for children to access free primary education. Almost all the children in the quarries out of school are in that situation because of this.
It has been a challenge. We have had to deal with cases of teachers charging levies in schools, levies like admission fee, which has been outlawed, levies like tuition money, which has also been outlawed.
Aside from the loss of class time and its lasting impact on the lives of these children, children rights activists contend that the grueling work here impacts the health and growth of these child laborers.
Toka hapa mwili unauma. Lazima upate maji ya moto.
Their eyes are affected. Them being very young and they're doing very hard work. This is hazardous to their health also. So this is not very good as they grow up to adults, meaning their life will also be very, it may not live to the fullest, I can say, as adults.
Huwa inabidi kifua, inatirata macho. Unaona mikono inakuwa rough. Viungo vinakuwa tight kabisa. Sasa hata ukilala unaweza kwenda kwa kitanda ukaingia kitandani hivi hata utafanya kushtuka ni asubuhi kumekucha. Uchovu umechoka. Sasa mtoto mdogo kama hivyo na ufira anaweza kusurvive kweli? Hawezi.
The government is beginning to tighten the laws governing children's rights in these areas. It is a slow, torturous process, but one that is bearing fruits, one child at a time.
We are still talking to them to take their children to school and see the importance of taking their children to school, because we cannot arrest all the parents and take them to jail. Basically, as a ministry, we are sensitizing them to take their children to school.
Napenda nipate kazi nzuri ambayo haina si kazi ya kutokesha kama hii.
A situation that these miners of Kilifi hope will apply to them soon. After all, they too have dreams they want to see realized sooner than later. Brenda Wanga, NTV in Kilifi.